Hey everybody, this is the video for rotations on graphs or rotations with graphs. Okay, so what we're doing is we're working on a new type of transformation called a rotation. Okay, here is your definition for a rotation. It is when we twist or turn a figure around the origin, either clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay, so we've talked in the past so far, we've talked about translations. Translations is when we slide. Whoops, sorry. Translations is when we slide. Okay, and then we've also talked about reflections. Reflections is when we flip our image. Okay, so now with rotations, we're talking about twisting or turning it. Okay, and we're going to twist it or turn it around the origin. The origin is this middle point right here, the 0, 0. We're going to twist it or turn it around that origin, either going counterclockwise or clockwise. So what it's going to look like is we're pretty much going to do something like this. So I'm going to take this triangle right here. I'm either going to rotate it clockwise. Okay, so then that's going to be my resulting figure, or I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise. Okay, where that could be my finishing figure, or I can even do 180 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to show you exactly what we mean by that, and how to do it, and how we get the exact points and all that good stuff. So again, same exact triangle. I want to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. Okay, so if I want to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, first we got to figure out which way a clock goes. Okay, so if I have a clock, okay, we know it rotates this way. So that would be clockwise. Counterclockwise would be the opposite, which would be that way. So it's asking me to rotate my image this way. This would be the same direction as a clock. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to rotate it 90 degrees. So let's talk about the how many 90 degrees is, how many 180 degrees is, and so forth. Okay, if I rotate 90 degrees, that means let's talk about 180 degrees. Okay, because 90 degrees is half of it. 180 degrees. If we go 180 degrees, we know that all the way around a circle is 360 degrees. So that means halfway around a circle is 180 degrees. If I said rotate 180 degrees, that means we're going to turn all the way around. Okay, but because we're only going 90 degrees, we're only going to go half of that. Okay, so instead of going all the way around, I'm going to do a 1/4 turn. I'm going to stop here. So this would be a 90-degree rotation. Okay, so let me show that one more time. I started here, and you guys can do this with your paper. I know I'm doing it on a computer right now, but when you have a paper with a problem and you need to rotate it, you can physically take your paper and rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and then leave it there. Okay, so now what I have is I have my new image. So I started with my pre-image, now I have my new image. But it looks like what I did is I twisted my graph here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what my A prime is, and my B prime, and my C prime by writing down the new points of where my figure is. So I'm going to, even though I know that we moved our whole graph, I'm going to pretend like this graph is standing upright, like it's the way it's supposed to be, and that this is my X, and that this is my Y. And I'm going to count what these points are right here, and I'm going to figure out what they are, and those are going to be my new points so that I can actually graph it properly. So I rotated my whole paper 90 degrees clockwise, and now I'm figuring out what my new points are. So my A prime is at 6 is my X coordinate, and then 1, 2, 3 is my Y. So 6, 3. My new B is at 4, positive 2. This is positive. I know these numbers say negative right now, but that's because we rotated it. We're pretending like this is a normal graph, and these are my positive, and these are my negatives down here. So I'm at 4, 2. Okay, and then finally my C prime is going to be at 2, 7. Okay, now what I want to do, now that I figured out what my points are, okay, so I figured out what my new points are for my new image. I've got to bring my graph back to its normal state. So I got to actually rotate it back to where it's upright. Okay, I've got to rotate it back to where it's upright. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and I can plot these 3 points to show what my new image is going to look like. So A prime is at 6, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, B prime 4, 2. And C prime is at 2, 7. And I'm going to label all these too. Okay, So here's C prime, B prime, A prime. And now what I can do is I get to connect all these to show what my new image looks like. And there we have it. Okay, so what I did is I rotated my graph. Okay, now let's see if we did this right. I rotated it 90 degrees clockwise, and then I wrote down my new points, and that's what my new image looks like. Okay, so they line up just about right. I'm a little off, but that's okay. Okay, so that's what it looked like when I rotated it 90 degrees. All right, so we're going to look at a couple more examples of this, and then we'll be good. Okay, so first I just want to make sure again we talk about clockwise and counterclockwise. So with clockwise, remember if we're looking at a clock, clockwise is always going to be going around like this. Okay, so if I want to take a house, I go 90 degrees clockwise. That means I'm only going to go halfway. Now counterclockwise means I'm going to go the opposite of a clock. Okay, and so instead of going all the way around, if I want to go 90 degrees, I just go sideways like so. And then 180 degrees when we flip it all the way upside down. So just a quick reminder, 180 degrees, we're just flipping our paper upside down. 90 degrees, we're just turning it 1/4 of a turn, either clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay, so now I got kind of a funkier image here. And what it's asking me to do is to rotate this figure 180 degrees about the origin. So the first thing I need to do is I need to actually rotate it. Okay, so I'm going to take, again, this is a piece of paper. You can do the same thing with your paper. You take your paper, okay, and because it's saying 180 degrees, that means I'm just flipping it upside down. I'm going to flip my graph upside down, or taking my paper and I'm flipping it upside down. Those are my new points now. Now I know we're all upside down. That's okay. I can still see which one's A, B, C, D, and E. So now what I can do is I can write down my points for A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, and E prime. And when we do this, we pretend as if our graph is not upside down. We pretend that this is a normal coordinate plane. Here's my X, here's my Y, this is my positive Y's, these are my positive X's, negative X, positive Y, negative Y. Okay, so we pretend like the graph has not been flipped, like it's standing upright and this is normal. Now I can write my points. So my A prime right here is at -5. I know this says positive, but remember, we're looking at this like we're pretending that this is a normal graph. So I'm going to -5, +2. So there's my A prime. B prime is at -10, +3. C prime is at -8, +5. D prime, -1, +5. And E prime is at, let's see, that's right here. So that'd be at -5, +4. So these are all my new points. So now that I have my points, I know exactly where my image is going to end up at. This is my pre-image. I know where my image is going to end up at now. So what I can do now is I can rotate my graph back to where it's supposed to be, back to where it's straight up and down. Okay. And now what I can do is I can plot all of these points and then connect the dots. So -5, 2. There's A. -10, 3. There's B. -8, 5. -1, 5. And -5, 4. Okay, and then again, we can connect those dots. Whoops. Connect those points. And there's my new image. Okay, and of course, yes, we should be labeling our points. I know I did not do that. So it went A, B, C, D, E. And again, if I rotate real quick just to show you guys, it should be just about overlapping. I missed it by just a little bit again. But if I move it down, shabam, there it is. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So let's do one more example. So this one I wanted to show you guys because now I have an image, a pre-image that is in both the first and second quadrant. So it's kind of overlapping here. It's going across the y-axis, and that's okay. It's not going to change anything. Okay, so it's asking me to go 90 degrees counterclockwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise. So again, let's think about it. Clock goes this way, so that means counterclockwise would be the opposite. So if I go 90 degrees counterclockwise, I'm going to take my paper, just rotate it a little bit, and that's where my new points are. Now I'm going to copy those down real quick. So my A prime is at, let's see, -5, -1. B prime is at -7, +4. C prime is at -3, +4. And D prime is at -3, +2. So there we have it. I've got all my new points for my image. So what I can do now is I can take my paper, I can rotate it back to where it's supposed to be. Okay. So go back to where it's going up and down. There we go, we're good. I'm gonna move this over a little bit for you guys. All right, and now I can plot my new points. So A prime -5, -1, boom, boom. There's A prime. B prime -7, +4. So there's my B prime. C prime -3, +4. And D prime -3, +2. Okay. And again, it should make the exact same shape. Okay, so we're not changing anything with our image. Okay, they should be identical. They're just oriented in a little bit different way. So now I can connect them, and it should look like the same figure that was just rotated a little bit. Okay, and that's it. So with rotations, you guys, we're just turning our sheet of paper that we have. We're twisting it. Okay, we're turning it and twisting it so that however much it tells us to, and then we just copy down that image, okay, those points, so then we can actually get our new figure. Okay, I hope this video helped. Let me know if you guys have any further questions, and good luck. Thanks.